Well, good evening and welcome to the Ask Dr. Jenny show. It is Health and Wellness Wednesday, and today we are talking about food. We're talking about fast food. Who doesn't love fast food? I mean, I think everybody kind of loves it. It's easy, it's convenient, but we are talking about the long-term effects of junk food. I like junk food, I think, like anybody else, but I know that I have to be careful about how much junk food that I do eat. And, it's easy, it's fast, and go to the drive-through. You can have it pretty quickly. It's within minutes. And then we can also have it delivered these days. Uber Eats, there's all kinds of people that will deliver the food directly right to you. It's just an easy thing to do. But we're going to be talking about the health effects of eating these types of foods and how eating this junk food is really not so healthy for us. And it helps, it might make it easier for getting things done quick. And I'm the person that loves convenience and loves it to be done quick and wants it right now type of thing. That Southern California deal. And, doesn't always mean that that's the best choice for us. So without further ado, I'd love to bring on Dr. Jenny Wilkins. Dr. Jenny. Thank you very much.
Hello, welcome. Stephen. Happy hump day to you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. If you hear some noise in the background, it's because I'm having some plumbing done. I've had the worst problems with my plumbing.
You have? Yeah. And we talked about that over a week ago or so.
Yes, we did. We sure did, didn't we?
We did. Okay, so you're getting that situation resolved, I hope. That's good.
Yes.
Awesome.
You're having a fabulous Wednesday. We're going to talk about diet today, right?
Yeah, I had a good day today. I was down on Siesta Key. Doesn't get much better being close down to the water like that. So I spent my day in Siesta Key making a transformation on these tubs and making them like new. That's what we're going to do tonight too for the viewers. That's what we intend to do, is give you some great information, folks, to be able to help you be as healthy as you can be so that you can enjoy life as best as you can possibly enjoy it. So we're talking about junk food tonight, Dr. Jenny. Junk food.
I know so you excited. Talking about diet. I'm all about the diet and teaching people my secrets. Yeah. Yes.
Well, we want to start also by thanking the viewers for taking time to come and join us tonight. We want you to share this out if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube. Feel free to make comments, share this video out to your friends, the groups that you belong to, and as well, you can ask Dr. Jenny questions. If you've got questions tonight about junk food and about your health, feel free to put them in the comments if you're watching on Facebook, and we'll get to as many as we possibly can. Now, Dr. Jenny, you've got 4 younger children. And so you're a mother raising 4 children, and I don't know that your children necessarily are, quote, addicted to the junk food, though.
No, they're not addicted. Do they have a taste for it? Absolutely. We all do.
Who doesn't?
If you're living and breathing, you do have to treat yourself occasionally, right? Because in essence, everything is bad. But I teach my children how to do everything in moderation and how to properly detox all the junk food. Because if you're however you're doing it, I have several different diets that help, because I want people to be compliant and I want them accountable, right? I don't tell them completely cut out burgers, completely cut out fries, completely cut out Coke out of their diet 100%. I make it simple for them. So I allow them to have their cheat days, right? We're all cheaters. We're going to do it anyways, so we might as well embrace it and
Well,
have our times to do it.
and I knew that we were going to go there because we have talked about this. By the way, folks, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, we're here talking about your health. And I know that we've talked about this before, and you don't have a problem sometimes cheating, but then you're going to educate the viewers about what to do after you've eaten things that aren't necessarily so healthy for you. Now, I do want to go to, I've got some facts here, and a question. And the question is based on the Scientific American, if not all fats are bad and not all complex carbohydrates are good, Dr. Jenny. When the USDA changed the food pyramid years ago, the guidelines in 2006, making it a new food pyramid, and the top heavy on complex carbs is what they were. Do you think that the changes were beneficial to the overall health of American public?
Our diabetes keeps getting worse. People's sugar keeps getting worse. People are still, we have 80% of our population that's obese. So something is still happening where Americans are not getting the type of information that they need. It's not just a matter. It's teaching them good habits. Hi, Yvonne. How are you? Welcome to the show. Because there is, like you said, there is good fats, and fat is an important part of a healthy diet. So you have to choose foods with good unsaturated fats, limit foods high in saturated fat, and avoid bad trans fat. So good unsaturated fats, mono unsaturated fats, and polyunsaturated fats lowers your chances of disease risk. And it's knowing how to cycle those. That's really the key.
What's the difference between those types of fats?
Well, you have the bad fats, which are the trans fats, right? It increases your disease risk, even when eaten in small quantities. But if you're doing it every single day, foods containing trans fat are predominantly, processed foods. So processed meaning genetically modified. They're putting a lot of excipients, a lot of fillers, a lot of dyes, a lot of things that your body just doesn't need. We're not deficient in them, Stephen. Trans fat are from partially hydrogenated oils. And unfortunately, trans fats have been eliminated from a lot of, different types of foods. It's not eliminated from the foods. You have this in like packaged meats. You have this in like foods that are like in cereals, or foods that are like burgers and French fries, fast food. Saturated fats, while not as harmful as the trans fats by comparison with unsaturated fats, it negatively impacts health and are best consumed in moderation. So you can allow yourself to have saturated fats, but again, it's homeostasis, moderation. Foods containing large amounts of saturated fat includes like red meat, butters, cheese, ice cream, right? Who doesn't like ice cream? Who doesn't like butter?
For ice cream.
Have some meat, but you're not eating it every day. Having steak every day. Right. You don't want to eat ice cream every day. You don't want to eat cheese every day. You don't want to eat the red meats every single day, because there is a difference between the different meats. Each meat product has a different chain of amino acids. It has like red meat is loaded with L-carnitine, right? So L-carnitine, yes, it's good for the heart and it's good for building muscle, but having too much of it can elevate certain different biochemical markers that can lead to heart disease, right? And too much ice cream, the same thing. So
that would not
moderation,
be good.
and that's what I teach. And then you have some plant-based saturated fats like coconut oil and palm oil, also rich in saturated fats. Now, these are more of those good fats that I'm talking about. These fats more feed the brain. So you have to feed your brain fats. That's how our brains function. So feed your brain, not, the disease. Feed your body, not the cancer.
Doesn't
so junk foods accelerates carcinogens.
That's not good. I know that a lot of junk foods too have sugars in them, and I think that you mentioned that about the sugars, but they're also lacking vitamins as well, correct? in these like fast food type of things, and the minerals such as magnesium and calcium, which encourage the development of deficiency diseases and osteoporosis. So as well as dental things. So they're not getting these vitamins. What would you say that a person should do if they're eating more than they should? How can they overcome that and supplement those foods? I guess I'm
Well,
getting to the what do you do after you've been eating this stuff?
gluttony, right?
I guess
Why are
so.
Americans so glutton? That's the word. Let's name it for what it is, Stephen, right? And partially why people are gluttonous is because we're eating foods, these genetically modified foods in our body that block satiation and that blocks leptin, right? So leptin levels controls all the ghrelin, and ghrelin, when you're blocking that, you don't have that feeling of fullness. So, and you can block your leptin levels by eating the wrong types of foods, like the good fats and the bad fats. And you got to remember, when food's being manufactured and manufacturer says, "Oh, low in fat, low in fat," what they often do, and this is the dangers when shopping, because something can just say fat free and people automatically are drawn to it, and that's not necessary. But usually when I say fat free, and that's a big red flag. That means they replace it with carbohydrates and sugar, refined grains, or like starches. So our bodies digest these refined carbohydrates and starches very quickly, and it starts to affect your blood sugar. Your insulin levels can possibly result in weight gain, disease, and other issues like leptin resistance, right? And that's when your body does not have the superpower to tell you that you're full. You want your body to be able to get full. So as Americans, we've blocked all of that. A majority of Americans are leptin resistant, and that's because a lot of these carbohydrates that they're putting in our foods converts into estrogen. Estrogen equals fat. So they're gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight. And they're like, what's going on? And it's messing with their endocrine system. So we have to teach people to don't get fat-free food. That doesn't mean that it's good for you. If you're going to eat foods with fats, make sure that it's the saturated fats that I was talking about, the good fats, right? Avocados, almonds, whole milk, whole yogurt. The ice cream, believe it or not, is good fats, but you want to make sure that it's from non-GMO. They're using the real sugar. There's a couple different brands out there that I like that has really good organic ice cream, but you're not eating it every day. You're indulging. Like my cheat days are Friday nights to Saturday nights. So I pretty much cheat for an entire day with the kids, and everything goes a day. But I'm also taking enzymes. I'm also taking like a glucose control when I'm cheating. And then the next day I cleanse. So if I'm cheating all day Saturday, I'm cleansing on Sunday, and I am eating super strict. I intermittently fast till about 1 o'clock, and then I eat my lunch, and then I eat my dinner. So during that intermittent fasting stage, I'm getting rid of all of the toxins that I digested or took in the prior day. So you see, there's little tricks, and I don't gain any weight. Like you said, I'm a mommy of 4. I'm 105 pounds. I don't exercise, which I should, right? Maybe the kids are my dumbbells, but really, I'm working 16 hours a day.
Right.
Work smarter, not harder. Enjoy your ice cream, enjoy some pizza, enjoy a burger, enjoy some French fries, but don't do it all the time. Anybody can eat super clean throughout the whole entire week and then have that one day of cheating. That's usually my advice for people. Pick a day that you cheat, or cycle, 3 days without carbs, and then on the 4th day you eat carbs, right?
Sounds fair to me.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I've been trying to work on eating better myself. And I know that we've talked and we're going to be getting me on a diet here really soon so that I can lose some of this extra weight because my habits weren't good, eating and then going to bed. That's a really bad thing, isn't it now? Because it seems to me as I was eating late and then falling asleep because I have such long days, that put a lot of weight on me because it's not processing as quickly. What's happening if we eat and go to bed? We're not supposed to do that, right?
That's a big no-no. If you get hungry right before you go to bed, again, we got to look at your leptin levels and seeing how much of those carbohydrates are being snuck in your food. Don't go to anything packaged. I usually tell people have a hard-boiled egg or even do like an apple. Protein is the better source because that's going to sustain you while you're asleep, and protein feeds muscle, right? Try to stay away from the sugars right before bed. Like if I have to eat something in the evening and I'm hungry, it's going to be protein, like a hard-boiled egg or maybe like a little chicken breast or like a little, piece of, steak. So protein, even a little cottage cheese cup is really good. And that's not going to cause obesity, right? Or a protein shake is really good too. But yeah,
Right.
eating before you go to bed, your digestive system slows down, your cortisol, gets reduced for the most part. There are some people that have elevated cortisol in the evening. And then women have that progesterone. Progesterone makes them sleepy. And then usually you have a nice spike of progesterone in the evening right before you go to bed. Men do produce progesterone too, makes them sleepy, slows down your digestive system. And while you're slowed down, you don't want that body to have just that food not being processed because you're being plugged in, you're being recharged. So it's just sitting there and then the body will store it.
Yeah. Well, clearly it was a problem. I knew that it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's now we're going to fix that. What's cortisol?
Cortisol is a stress hormone.
That's what I thought.
Yep. If you have too much of it, it makes you gain weight. So you see these really skinny people, I call it the Buddha belly, especially men. They'll get this gigantic belly. They look about 8 months pregnant, but they're never giving birth to a baby.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
But it's a Smith family tradition.
Right. It's like,
no,
belly for good luck.
I put this more weight on this last year, actually, because I was doing well. But we'll get it straightened back out.
We're getting ready to start. I'm going to start you and Latina at the same time from She Speaks, right? We're going to do it together. See who's going to be the biggest loser. I got a challenge.
Oh, right. That's going to be great. Viewers, you got to watch that because we're going to document that whole thing of...
we're going to start it. We're going to start you this Friday, Stephen.
That sounds like...
You're going to have your loading days on Saturday and Sunday. And you're going to start losing 1 to 3 pounds a day for the next 23 days. And you're going to be about 30 to 60 inches smaller body-wise. Yep. Okay. I'm a big believer of that HCG. And men do get a lot better results than women. Men tend to cheat less, in my experience. In my professional experience, I see that men will follow something more to the T as opposed to the women, because women like to cheat because we have those crazy cravings depending on our cycle, because we have estrogen that makes us crave sugar, right? And then women don't know what types of foods reduces those cravings, like take in more calcium, take in more potassium. So what foods, like eating a banana before you go to bed, that gets rid of your sugar cravings like that. So anytime I crave sugar, my cycle, I eat a banana.
And I was buying bananas. I need to get some more, but I did remember that you said that previously on another episode about the bananas. And so, we got to stock up on some bananas here because I do have, it's habit. Isn't everything habit that we do? So it might be that habit of getting that fast food or eating that bowl of ice cream at night. And so we just need to replace those unhealthy habits with healthy habits. And that's one that I've needed to work on for a moment. So I'm excited about that. I mean, I've changed a lot of stuff in my life. Now we're going to work on that diet and cutting back.
It takes about 23 days exactly to either develop a bad habit or to get rid of one of your bad habits.
That's important.
Or you can develop a good habit. So this is why I put people on a diet protocol. I don't even like to call it a diet. I put you on a weight loss protocol. Right? A health and wellness protocol, because diets are forever. And I'm not big on like the Weight Watchers, these fad diets, the LA diet, these ridiculous cleanses that people do that makes you have projectile diarrhea. I'm a nicer provider, I think, than a lot of providers out there, because I do allow people to live and have their cocktail nights. And I tell them what supplements to take to be able to revive your cellular function, to be able to clean up your ecosystem, your gut, and to be able to protect your brain. Because really, we have free radical exposure from everything that we do. Eating and drinking causes, free radical damage. It's just like a car. When you're putting gasoline in your car. There's wear and tear that's happening in that car. That's a necessity. It has to happen. But then you're also taking it to the mechanics X amount of miles, right? To keep maintenance. So our bodies are the exact same way. Maintaining your system, keeping your mechanics nice and lubricated and free and clear, right? So, I mean, I take probiotics. I tell people take your weight loss efforts are only as good as the amount of bacteria you have in your gut. That's just as simple as that. If you do not have good bacteria in your stomach supporting the catalyst, those enzymes in your body, and that production, of those enzymes, you're not going to be losing the weight. And probiotics helps you to produce B12. B12 is essential for weight loss and for the psyche. So prevents depression, helps you have energy. Yeah. If you don't have energy, you're not losing weight.
Well, I know that when we did those IV drips, boy, I tell you, a lot of energy after that, and that was all kinds of good stuff in there. What I'd like to go, though, it's common knowledge today that, there's a lot of processed foods, mostly processed foods in a box. I remember my wife alone, she wouldn't even buy it. If it was in a box, it was like, no, I'm not doing it. Good for her. She taught me a lot about cooking. But those foods are lacking in nutrients and vitamins and minerals that are necessary for the body to function at peak efficiency. Do you have specific products in your pharmacy that you give for the children to help supplement those deficiencies, Dr. Jenny?
Yes, I have an entire, and my children are my guinea pigs, right? So it tastes, they're like approved by my 5-year-old, my 8-year-old, my 10-year-old, my 13-year-old. So I covered all of the, because kids are picky and they're all about texture and taste. So I make everything taste really good, but the bioavailable way. So I sweeten everything with L-glycine or honey. L-glycine tastes like sugar and it regulates sugar. So I have B12 folate spray for children. It helps them with their attention deficit disorders, right? I have chewable zinc, a lozenge that they can suck that helps with their immune system. I have CoQ10, which helps feed their mitochondrial energy and also helps them with their brain and that oxygen transportation. It helps keep the little mechanics in shape. I have chewable probiotics too for children that can't swallow pills. Everything is in a spray form, a chewable form, or a capsule form, depending on your child. So the chewable and the spray form is really great for little babies, right? The spray form is great for babies. Okay. I had a client that was in here the other day. He's local law enforcement and he's got a young child and he has massive allergies and he had like all of this redness underneath his eyes. He's like, what do I do? What do I do? His eyes are always watering. There's always like eye boogers. And I said, oh my gosh, his little immune system, the pigmentation in his eyes. I said, we got to boost his immune system. So within a week of doing the vitamin D3 with the K2 spray every single morning with his the eye boogers disappeared. And then he's like, what more can I do? What more can I do? So then I gave him chewable probiotics.
There you go. Well, I know I'm taking the probiotics. I've been taking those since, we first met. And there's a huge difference because I notice even when I miss a day or two, which I have, I have to be honest, it's a whole nother ball game. I used to have problems with, acid and the reflux and not feeling well. And we know that our gut health is so connected to our mental health and how we're feeling. If you feel sick in your stomach, boy, you just probably not going to have a great day. But I want to go back to the fact that this junk food for our kids, and a lot of us do that.
And it's bad for you. Yeah. Our children's minds are, it can damage their liver, puts high levels of trans fat is found in a number of different types of junk food it puts the unhealthy fats in the liver, which can cause liver dysfunction as they're getting older. It can cause
that's kind of where I wanted to go with that because about chronic illness, it brings on chronic illness when they get older. So what clearly liver that could bring on a problem there. What other kind of chronic illness can giving this junk food
to children?
The Happy Meal,
Yeah, no more Happy Meals. I mean, they did studies on these Happy Meals and it had about 10 actual bioavailable calories out of a 2,000 calorie, like this Happy Meal had 2,000 calories, but only 10 of those calories were actually positive. So what that means is when they're eating this food, the body's like, what do I do with this? I don't need this. So it starts to store it in weird places, underneath the chin, underneath the arms, and behind the kneecaps, in the bum, the cottage cheese. And then it starts to go, and you start seeing the squishy, roly-poly, like a pug type of fat. Mm-hmm. And you don't want that. That's cute on babies, right?
Right.
But the babies have the good fat, the brown fat versus the white fat, right? It's not supposed to, you're not supposed to have that when you're an adult or when you're a young child. You're not supposed to have those happy little pug rolls anymore. You want to squeeze them, you know? But it
might be a matter of perspective for some people, though. I mean,
maybe they like that. But you know, that's just one of the things. Like, we need to protect our children from getting that juvenile diabetes. We have an increase in that. So 25% increase was the last stat I saw just in the last year of juvenile diabetes. So our children are obese. Like, they're so obese now to where people are tolerating it, and they're making Barbies obese. So now they have a size 12 Barbie. What? So now they're making it like, oh, it's okay. It's okay to be heavy. It's okay. Love your heaviness. It's all right to be unhealthy. We're going to make you a doll, and she's going to be obese. Here's unhealthy. Here's Barbie with cancer. Here's what's next? You know, no, we need to
and you know, we're not trying to be
Barbie. No, I'm being frank.
Yeah.
You know how apologetic
well, we're not trying to be uncompassionate to people that are overweight. Certainly, I mean, I know this feeling because I certainly need to lose some weight. I'm not at that ideal weight yet. There isn't
7 pounds back in 2007.
That's hard to believe.
Weight, next show, we'll put that in there. 197 pounds at 5'1".
That's just
I had a size 14 pants, and I had a double D cup. It was so humbling to have been exposed to that. Yes, I was pregnant with baby number 1, but baby came out at 7 pounds. Where did I gain all the 97 pounds from? It's like, once that baby came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the rest? What happened to my body? I thought I was going to have a 97-pound baby. What?
Right.
But here I am. I was always fit. I was always thin. And yeah, I only gained 50 pounds. I went from 100 pounds to 50 pounds. And that was still a lot of weight for my small frame. But
and when did that happen, Dr. Jenny?
My body got metabolic X syndrome from, I was worried. I had a husband at the time that's like, oh my gosh, you're not gaining any weight. He fed me everything. He just like, eat. There's pizza, hot dogs, this, blah, blah, blah. I never ate so bad in my life until I was pregnant with baby number 1. And then blah, 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 I gained weight on my 7th month visit. The doctor's like, whoa. I went from, oh, you've only gained like 7 pounds at 7 months. And then she's like, and then you get that fear. You're like, oh no, I'm depriving the baby. I got to eat for 2. No, you're not eating for 2. You got to eat healthy. You got to make healthy choices. But my body, my receptor sites flipped out from eating all that junk food. Like, I fried all those receptor sites. So once that baby came, that baby already sucked me dry of all my nutrients. There I was, like an empty vehicle with no support, nothing. I wasn't going anywhere. I was too fat. I couldn't move, you know?
Well, this is what's going on in my brain. It's like, I know that in the past, I use this as an answer, you know, when I put on that weight and getting that pot belly and everything. And I wasn't a huge beer drinker back in the day or anything. It was certainly it was hardly liquors what the deal was when I was drinking. But I'd say, well, you know, Mary, things are good. I'm getting fed well. You know, this is the way I was justifying all this extra weight, right? Maybe it wasn't exactly like that.
Yeah, you're in love, you gain weight because you're comfortable, right? Isn't that what they say?
See, there you go. And that's maybe what I was getting at, is that I felt comfortable, I suppose, at that time. And yeah, that's okay, great. Yes.
And now, guys, that pot belly, we're going back to that pot belly.
Yeah.
It's as simple as balancing out testosterone sometimes in men. Low
The
testosterone levels
testosterone.
makes men gain weight
Oh,
because it helps to stabilize that cortisol. So, I see a guest in the back.
yeah. I got my sound man here. He wants to get on TV too.
Oh, this is your time to shine now.
This
No,
is
no,
your
no,
time to
no,
shine,
no.
Randy. Come on now.
No, 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 no.
He's shy. He's like, nope, I'll stay behind.
We
Make you a
appreciate him.
superstar.
He's helping us here with the banners and stuff so that I can focus on the show. I want to talk. There's a lot of side effects from eating this bad food. Things like, and you can explain this because I still am not getting a real grip on this, atopic, which is related to asthma, eczema, and rhinitis. I can't even pronounce that word. But asthma, let's go with asthma.
Yeah,
And
asthma.
food coloring. Yeah, and I did want to get to the food colorings and these artificial colors. What role do these artificial colors play in this food? And how does that affect us negatively, Dr. Jenny?
Well, bad for children, right? There's lots of studies out there for food colorings like the red dye number 13, 14, 15, 16. It is harmful because you got to remember, we're not deficient in those food colorings. It's not something that's going to be natural, in our foods. These are additives, excipients. When I keep talking about excipients, preservatives, dyes, fillers, blah, 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 blah. And this is affecting neurological functions in children because these are dyes. It's affecting the brain and it's causing our children to develop hyperactivity. So you're making our kids really hyper, right? And you find this in all our processed foods and in the candy, right? So avoid the food coloring like the plague for your kids. Don't get foods that are loaded with that. Pick the non-GMO versions. They have the non-GMO organic gummy bears and organic, there are alternatives to it. The most popular ones like the yellow number 5, the blue number 1. Companies put that in there, and they put the gelatin into desserts and even in pet food. So even poisoning our animals, right? And meat products, you'll find some of these food color added. Like what's the point? Just to make our meat look fresher, right? Hot dog sausages, they'll put it in that.
That's what they're doing.
They do. I mean, it's a standard thing. They'll put different types of dyes and sprays in our produce just to make it look prettier and more shinier and
right
where it's like, oh, because if it,
what came to my mind though, what came to my mind, Dr. Jenny, is Christmas cookies. I mean, that's one of the things I love to do at Christmas time is to make sugar cookies. Oops.
That's
but make sugar cookies and then you add that dye coloring into the frosting to make them red, to make them green. It's like, wow, not so good,
and during those times of cheating, I have a product called Glucopro.
Okay.
L-glycine. So yeah, you're being functional. You make sure you take that during the holidays. I am so religious in taking these supplements that are constantly going in there to combat all of the negative things I'm eating. Because how many holiday parties do I go to from Thanksgiving all the way to January 2nd? And, I'm not going to be rude and not go, and they all have cookies, they all have pastries, they all have all this stuff. I'm sure there's blue number 2 and green number 3 and yellow number 3 and yellow number 6, red, all of this stuff is like, okay, blue number 2 is linked to brain tumors in mice, all the studies, right? Green number 3 is linked to bladder cancer. These are studies that go way back into the 1980s. Yellow number 3 is known to cause allergic reactions to people, because it even acts very much like aspirin. So there's studies over there. So anybody that's sensitive to aspirin, they're going to have an allergic reaction, just like they would with aspirin. So avoid that. Yellow number 6 associated with cancer of the adrenal glands in the kidney. So adrenal glands controls metabolism. Kidneys are filters, right? So allergic reactions there. Red number 3 was even considered being banned in the early 1980s for thyroid tumors. So how many women and how many men have taken, have been eating food that has red number 3 and they have goiters in their thyroid and they gain weight? But then you're looking at their Doritos, their Cheetos, all of this stuff that has that red number 3 in it, and then they're the ones damaging and causing thyroid disease, hypothyroidism, and then they have the thyroiditis. And then guess what? They're at an endocrinologist, and then they're doing the surgery. You can avoid it.
Thyroid disease, if it's a disease, I guess, I mean, is that hereditary by any chance, or yes or no?
It's all diet related.
It's all diet.
Do you have genetic predispositions that can put you
That's,
at
I guess, what I was trying to say. You're the doctor, not me.
we all have the propensity to get cancer, thyroid disease, obesity, diabetes, right? But we can re-express that genetics by implementing good habits, right? I have family members that have breast cancer, that have lupus, that have thyroid issues. I mean, in my family, they're either really big or they're really tiny. I'm convinced the tinier ones, like, we become more health conscious. We become aware. Be like, yep, I saw Aunt so and so get, a thyroidectomy and being super healthy. But then we also saw how they ate too. So it's just a walking time bomb. It's just a matter of time. There's only so much that your mechanics can take by time you get to a point to where you realize, okay, when is the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? When do you wake up and realize, when they have lung cancer, when they have emphysema, when they're pre-dementia and they're almost in a nursing home, when they have Parkinson's, when they have the thyroid tumors, when they have the brain tumors. You know how many patients I talk to about brain tumors, if they have brain tumors, and the chewing tobacco or smoking causes brain tumors? Because it leads to CoQ10 and they could avoid it. You know how many children have pituitary tumors and brain tumors because they have someone in their family that is using tobacco or nicotine products and they're smoking, and you get that second hand, that third hand, and then their little metabolics is getting affected. I mean, think about that. What we do is affect other people. So, and I do it from a place of love. I want people to be healthy. And people think I'm a little bit harsh, but I'm like, no, I'm going to tell you to stop. Not because it's disgusting or this, that, and the other, right? Because I care about you. Right. I want you to be healthy. I want you to stop smoking because it's not healthy. You're going to destroy your body. And I don't want to be in a hospital with you with a big old oxygen tank. I had an uncle that died from lung cancer, and he smoked like a chimney. And he died of lung cancer.
Yeah, not
he was very young. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think this is the important factor here, and that's what we're trying to share with the viewers, is the fact that we both care so very much. Dr. Jenny's got the medical expertise to be able to help you get healthier. That's the important factor. That's why we do these shows. Join us every Wednesday, 7:00, because we care. We care about getting you healthy, and Dr. Jenny's got the solutions for that, and we appreciate that. Now, I'd like to go to a quick commercial here. It's about a minute or so. And I'd like to thank our sponsor tonight, Total Coatings, a local company here in Sarasota, Florida. They do bathtub refinishing. You might have heard me talk about that stuff in the past, but they're sponsoring the show tonight. We appreciate them. Well, let's go do a quick commercial break here, Randy.
We let our bathtub go too long. It had rust in it. It had deep pitting in it. There were chips. I, quite frankly, thought it was unrepairable.
Total Coatings is a family-owned and operated bathtub and shower refinishing company. We've been around since 2006, but we use a exclusive non-toxic porcelain coating that was developed over 60 years ago by a franchise in California. So the product is very well established. We refinish bathtubs, showers, wall tile, countertops, and even sinks. Customers want to know what makes our product different, and that's, of course, the exclusive non-toxic porcelain. We also don't acid etch the surface, so you don't have to leave your home because of noxious fumes.
I was completely and utterly shocked. It looked like a brand new bathtub. I would recommend Total Coatings to anybody.
Wonderful. I need her in my store. I need
Yes.
both of them.
That lady in the tub. I just like the lady in the tub.
Oh, I see a lot. I see lots of questions coming up here, guys.
Okay,
I
we need
got
to
a
maybe go to
Lita.
some of these questions then.
Yeah,
Let's
she's
do that.
frustrated. She's telling me she's gained 50 pounds in 3 months from medications. I'd love to know what types of medications she's on, but getting
Okay.
her Kimberly, yeah. And that's normal. There are medications that'll make you gain weight and water weight, cortisol weight, because it's putting wear and tear on your endocrine system, on your central nervous system, on your neurological function. So it's reestablishing that. And finding out what medication. So definitely go to my website, Kimberly, and fill out that free consult form so we can schedule you. So for a free 15 minutes, I will talk to you and see where you're at so we can get you, on a good path to health and wellness. I will help you lose weight. That is a guarantee. I don't have any patients that are not successful. They're always successful because I'm balancing out their mechanics.
Well, that's the
I had
important part too, is that it is like you talked about, maintaining your car and getting your car tuned up. So you got to diagnose the car to be able to know what to do. And so that's what you do. And then you tailor it to that particular individual based on their particular needs. And that is the beauty of this. And all these products that you do, you compound, you make them right here in Sarasota.
I make everything.
Yeah,
And
you make
free and
everything.
clear. I don't put any
And
garbage in it.
go ahead.
I don't put any garbage in my products. Everything is bio natural. Everything is bioidentical to the body. So I don't have any of those yellow colors in there. My vitamins are all in their bioavailable form. They're not synthetic, but you get results immediately. I get text messages from people that thought they were at the end of their rope neurologically. They're depressed. They've lost their drive. They've lost their mojo. Right? It's like, well, let's get your mojo back. And I'm giving them these B12 shots, vitamin D shots, something simple just to start. And immediately they're like, what did you give me? I was on cloud 10 today. I was flying. I had so much energy. I slept amazing. And then they want to come back and do the, okay, help me. I can't do the Lamborghini, route. So help me with, like, I could do the BMW route, or if I can do the Honda route. I have a therapy that fits everybody's. Whichever route you take, you're going to get results. It's just a matter of, it's going to happen in 90 days. It's going to happen in 6 months, or is it going to happen in a year? Still, if by the end of the year, someone goes from 400 pounds down to 250 pounds, and these are real clients that I have that have lost, like 2 human beings. That's me. I'm 105 pounds. So they lost 2 Dr. Jenny.
Well, that's so awesome. And then I'm going to just remind everybody, if you just happen to be coming in, we appreciate the fact that you're watching. If you're watching on Facebook, you can put some comments in there. If you've got questions for Dr. Jenny, feel free to ask those questions. If you're on that Facebook or the YouTube, go ahead and share that out. Those that are watching on E360 or our YouTube channel, of course, we appreciate you very much. Make sure to tell your friends about this show. It's a great show. Dr. Jenny is so dynamic. I like the fact that you're able to meet someone's financial needs too, as well, from that aspect, based on what they can afford. You'll come up with an answer. We're going to do it with myself. We're going to do it with another person. I'm looking forward to meeting Latina. And so Latina and I are going to do this. We're going to do the Ask Dr. Jenny's Biggest Loser. So we'll be documenting this stuff, and it's going to be awesome. And you'll see these results here on the upcoming episodes. So make sure to tune in 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. Awesome. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that our kids might be eating these foods, and it's affecting them. It's affecting their schoolwork. They're depressed maybe as a result of this. They're getting on these high sugars, and then they're having these crashes. They can't focus as well. So this is where it's important for us to be looking at this stuff for our kids, making sure they're eating well. Maybe you can explain that a little bit better, and what they should be looking out and what they can do to make sure that their kids aren't struggling any more than they, need to, obviously. I mean, I know
Mhm.
school's a challenge right now. I'm
Yeah.
sure it is, for those that particularly that are going to school with the COVID. No. Why don't you
Hmm.
explain that a little bit more to us? And I want you to touch on that addiction aspect again, because that's, oh,
You become addicted to junk food. It really does.
is it?
It does a lot with those receptor sites. You're absolutely right. It affects brain function. There was a study that was published in the journal Brain Behavior and Immunity publication that showed that 1 week of eating junk food, Stephen, is enough to trigger memory impairments. 1 week. And who's being targeted by the junk food, right? It's so cheap, it's inexpensive. We live in a society that's rush, 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 rush. Mommies get so busy. We are so tired. I'm there, moms. I feel you. I have 4 children. It is exhausting. And sometimes I drive by, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have to feed these children. And I see McDonald's and I see the 2 for $2, or I go by Taco Bell, or I go by Checkers, or all these junk foods, places. And I'm like, what? $1 Whopper? It's like, oh my gosh, this is great. I can feed my entire family for $10. We can get French fries. We can get the Cokes. We can supersize everything. Woohoo. But it is bad. We're destroying their little brains. So we don't want those bad fats, those trans fats, bad fats from junk food, to damage and interfere with the normal signaling mechanisms in children. And children have so much neurochemical pathways. I mean, they're superhuman. Have you ever seen a child just take in the world? Like a 19-month-old, a 3-year-old, a 5-year, everything is like super exciting, everything. And then we're giving them junk food. That starts to disappear because it starts to dumb them down. And then they have that brain dumping, right? Everything is starting to dump and overpool out because there's so much toxicity. It's a real thing. So we need to get our children on good fats, essential fatty acids, right? Give them some omega-3, 6, 9s supplements.
I was gonna ask you about that. One of the best things I think, if I recall, is eating fish, and I know that we've mentioned that before. Tell us about what is it, omega-3s and omega-6s with the
Yep.
fish, and that's the
Omega,
good fats for you too as well.
exactly. The good fats that the brain absolutely loves. It's being fed, and your children get smarter. They start getting better grades. They have better moods. They sleep better. It's preventing inflammation. It's supporting their growth, both neurologically, but then also with their tendons, with their joints. All of those good fats helps to lubricate. It's like the oil in your car. Think like the Tin Man, right? Think oil me up.
Okay, I want to bring up this question for you then, because we're talking about our kids. We're talking about how much we care about our kids. We want them to have the best future they can have too, and maybe get decent grades, if not really good grades, so that they can focus. So we're helping them make sure that they're staying healthy. Now, when I was a kid, I had to start by saying, one of the biggest things I loved to do was to go down to 7-Eleven and have a Coke Slurpee. Oh my goodness, that was like the deal. Oh my gosh, a Coke Slurpee. But we didn't consume a lot of soda pop or coffee necessarily. Now today, kids they're doing these energy drinks and a lot of sodas and maybe coffee. That's got caffeine in these drinks, and so I'm wondering how detrimental to a healthy diet is those types of drinks.
Oh my gosh, caffeinated beverages stunts the growth of children, right? It increases the heart rate, gives them anxiety, and that's the last thing children need is anxiety, because they're already hyper. They already have this energy that you got to put them in a sport. You got to help them, keep them busy, right? I take my children out for runs and walks. I mean, we'll walk 5 miles, until, oh, mommy, we got to turn around. I'm tired. Yay, success, I got one more down. We're going one more mile, sometimes I end up carrying one because
Right.
there's 3 that still haven't worn down yet.
Well, this is an important factor. You're talking
Caffeine is
exercise.
really bad. Caffeine is bad for children. You don't want to introduce that. A small amount is all right, but I much prefer, if I'm going to treat my child to a pop beverage or like one of those pop soda smoothies that you were talking about, it's going to be
Right.
made with the soda that's in the glass bottles, those throwback sodas. You know which ones I'm talking about. Not the
Right.
ones in the can or the plastic bottles. Those are bad. And you could look at the ingredient label. The ingredient label on a soda can bottle or a soda plastic bottle is like 6 or 7 lines. And then the one in the
Right.
glass bottle is 1 line. There's 3 ingredients in there. I was doing this with my children the other day. I was showing them the difference between the Fruity Pebbles, right? And then
Right.
the organic Fruity Pebbles. That's from like, I'm thinking of some of the organic or those Frosted Flakes. They're great. You know, they're advertising for children because they're like, oh, the tiger, you know, and then they want to buy this garbage that has 10 lines of synthetic ingredients. And then you go to the organic Frosted Flakes and it's got 1 line of ingredients with 3 different ingredients. And the children were like, oh, wow, Mom. I said, and I'm
Huge.
teaching them, I said, all of these ingredients right here are going to slow you down and take away your superpowers.
Well, see, yes, you're setting the stage for them to learn these good, healthy habits when they're young, so that they'll carry them when they're older. And then,
Yep.
when they have kids, then hopefully they do the same as well.
Mhm.
Because good health is critically important to, a happy, healthy life. That's what we talk about here, is getting healthy. We were talking about junk food tonight. We're talking about caring about our kids and trying to get them healthier and stay away from the junk foods. Now, I know that you said that it's okay to cheat every once in a while. Maybe we can just go back and touch on that. We've got a few more minutes left here.
Oh my gosh, we went by really fast today, didn't we?
Did go by fast. Yes.
So much information. Yeah, once
I
in a
know.
while. Allow
Tons of
yourself to cheat once a week. Follow what I like to call a flexitarian diet. Be flexible. Because like I said, in essence, everything is kind of bad for you, but then you have the super, super bad, right? I allow my children to cheat once a week. Once a week, we will go to Checkers and get some French fries and get one of the Checker burgers. Or we'll go to Burger King and get one of the but that's it. We're cheating that one day. Here's your cheat meal. We're all and it shocks your body. But guess what? They're taking their supplements. They're taking their probiotics. They're taking their cheat zymes. I saw Yvonne Collins mention in a comment, I love your cheat zymes. That's probably one of my best sellers for men and for women. Women are obsessed with this because I made this product to be able to process junk food out of your system. So if you're traveling and you're on a plane and you're on, and you just have no other option, we've all been there. We're on a long road trip and there's nothing available but a Burger King. You got to pull over and you're starving, right? I carry my cheat zymes with me. I take 2 of those and then I eat my junk food and it just, my body gets fulfilled. It no longer has that hunger, but then those enzymes act as a catalyst to metabolize it quickly out, dispose, annihilate. That's the sugars and the bad, processed fats from the proteins too. So it gets rid of, it metabolizes all the junk. It does the full entire spectrum. It's a full spectrum enzyme, systemic enzyme. So there's a lot of enzymes like Beano. Everybody's familiar with Beano. Beano is just a product with enzymes that helps you to process legumes, beans. Because some people, too many beans makes you fat. So having a diet rich in beans, this is why in third world countries, I lived off of beans, but we didn't have any food. We were poor. We had clay hut houses. We were taking baths in rivers. We didn't have access to all the restaurants and money and opportunity. So here in the United States, it's like beans is really a poor people food. At least that's how I grew up. I will treat myself a couple times out of the month to beans with the rice. But in Honduras, we eat beans and rice all the time because we're starving. We got to eat. We got to put fat on us.
And the rice it turns into sugar.
Exactly. The rice too. Yep. So you pick the fattiest types of foods that's going to keep your weight up. So, I mean, there was days that my mom and I didn't even have, for a week, we'd be living off of a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread.
Well,
So put that in perspective. But here in the US, we have access to everything. There is food, everything. There's no reason that people should be starving in this country.
no, there shouldn't. There
We have
shouldn't.
resources, right?
There are resources, and we're working on helping people get to those resources, as you well know, Dr. Jenny, with a New Life Referral Center that's coming soon here in Sarasota. It's going to be located right there with Dr. Jenny at her Age Vital Wellness Center. She's on Main Street. She offered earlier to do 15-minute free consultations. You can go to her website. She wants to help you get healthy. Just go ahead. I'll let you go ahead as I normally do. I love it. You can close us out here, Dr. Jenny. Tell people how they can get a hold of you, take advantage of this phenomenal offer to be able to get themselves healthy as well as their kids.
You can go to www.agevital.com. That's AGEVITAL.com. You can send me an email to jenny@agevital.com. I am so happy to help you guys. Honest to goodness, this is my passion. If you want a free 15-minute consultation, I will talk to you about your weight and what your options are and what you can do. Or you can give us a call, 941-388-0800. You can go to the LWN Foundation. You can find me there. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm everywhere, YouTube. And just take advantage of all of the weight loss efforts. We have a guest star over here. I don't think he realized he was on TV.
He's on TV now. That's so awesome. So we had a couple.
Dallas, the handyman. He does everything.
Excellent. And so we had a couple extra guests on tonight. We appreciate that. Now remember, we're going to be doing the Ask Dr. Jenny's Biggest Loser coming up. Join us next. I know. Join us next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Thank you so very much, everybody. God bless you. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.